And the other kind of countervailing force is explosion of web-based applications, right? Agile development methods that generally don't take security that much into account, and a willy-nilly adoption of new applications and platforms within enterprises, either officially or usually kind of unofficially. So I want to use Facebook, I want to use Twitter, I want to throw something up on Google Docs because I can work on it at home. This is how Twitter had their business plans posted on TechCrunch, right? It was through Google Docs. So it's almost like these two things, are going this way, right? Good conversations around process and controls and compliance, but not a lot of policing on probably where a lot of your exposure is, which is what are my employees doing, and what are we giving them access to? Have we even really talked to them about what our expectations are about what is appropriate to do at work and what isn't, and what the risk is?
That's the big thing. Yeah. There's been the effort to create an open workplace, environments that encourage creativity and encourage development and the agile workplace and the mobile workplace. There's been a real reluctance on the part of businesses to address the acceptable use policies, the employee training. Mm-hmm. Many of the breaches that we're seeing were just simply a lack of good employee training. Right. The companies just didn't have a training program in place to train people on how data is treated, right. And what they can do, what they should do and what they shouldn't do, and what they can access and what they shouldn't be taking home, what they shouldn't be loading onto USB drives. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's always amazing to me when a client will call to say, we have a problem, and you start to dig into what actually happened. Well, somebody loaded the entire HR department into a USB drive mm-hmm. and dropped it.
Right.
Yeah. We're seeing encrypted? No.
Right.
The legislation uses the word consumer quite frequently. Mm-hmm. Massachusetts has mm-hmm. used it. Mm-hmm. Some of the federal legislation uses the word consumer or customer, mm-hmm. And it's not really correct because it's never been the legislative intent to only apply that to consumer type transaction
sure.
information.
Sure.
It's always been the intent to apply it to any personal information by definition. And that includes, and people are just starting to realize that, wow, some of my biggest repository of personally identifiable information is in my HR department.
Mm. This is what's going to be a challenge in using medical information collectively to improve healthcare. Mm. Because I think there's a lot of it. You can mask the names, you can mask the addresses. Mm. Those are relatively straightforward. Mm. But it's the inferential data that is going to have to be thought out before we start using it, because mm-hmm. after the fact is not going to be the way to go on this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also securing the platforms themselves. I mean, you folks deal a lot with the development side of things.